Greetings, Lucky Legends. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Lucky. This is Lucky Lad TV. I'm your host for this video, and it's time for our Week 3 PMC Team Builder against S2W3 and the Dallas Staryus, our home team rivals, essentially. Now, we did some really interesting things this week. Dallas, aka S2W3, is known for bringing, like, serious heat. Like, I'm talking, I don't really know, but serious heat. So, when I was planning for this match, I needed to bring, not necessarily more heat, but I needed to cover literally all of my bases. I needed to make sure that I was prepared for really everything, which is really hard to do. I think I did a pretty good job of that this week. The first Pokemon that I started off building with was Locksmith, our Klefki. Once again, Locksmith coming through with pretty much the same set: Thunder Wave, Spikes, Magnet Rise, Flash Cannon this week. The reason we have Flash Cannon is because Flash Cannon will break a Scolipede sub, whereas Dazzling Gleam does not because it's resisted. This thing takes on the Scolipede extremely easily and enables us to paralyze it. Scolipede is his fastest Pokemon. However, with Prankster, we ignore its speed boost. So, Locksmith also takes on Roserade pretty well, unless, of course, it is running Hidden Power Fire. If it is running Hidden Power Fire, we are in a bit of trouble because of that Technician boost. It also takes on Zoroark relatively well because we resist its stab. Other than that, Klefki's just there to deal decent damage. It actually does like almost no damage to Togekiss because we are completely uninvested and Togekiss is so incredibly fat. With Magnet Rise, we pretty much completely wall Scolipede unless it starts setting up Swords Dances. However, if we paralyze it, I can come in with one of our faster Pokemon and just get rid of it. Primarily, that being Green Lantern. Green Lantern is faster than Scolipede naturally, so I don't really need to worry about that. Spikes, everything on his team is grounded except for Togekiss and Gliscor. Everything else is grounded, taking up to 25% from Spikes, which is why I'm bringing Spikes this week. I have Stealth Rock on this team as well. Actually, do I even have Stealth Rock this week? Yes, I have Stealth Rock this week. I wasn't 100% sure. We do have Stealth Rock this week to deal with that, the two floating Pokemon, being Togekiss and Gliscor, which take 25 and 12.5% respectively. But the next piece of the puzzle was Azelf. Life Orb Psyshock with our investment will one-shot a Scolipede. It will also one-shot a Roserade. And we are faster than both of those Pokemon. Scolipede hits a max speed of 180. Granted, yes, it can get a speed boost. However, I'm much more concerned about being faster than it, like catching it on a switch. Or, for example, being able to hit Roserade. That's also very important, which is, I put 12 EVs into attack because Knockoff does really good damage to Chandelure. And I also want U-Turn to be able to deal decent damage to Pokemon like Zoroark. Granted, Zoroark does have access to Sucker Punch. However, again, I'm thinking a lot about catching Pokemon on the Switch. The other reason we have Psyshock over Psychic is because Hariyama often runs Assault Vest to boost its special defense. This way we can still deal huge damage to it, potentially knocking it out depending on his spread. Stealth Rock is, as I said, there for chip damage, U-Turn is there for initiative, and Psyshock is really just there for cleaning stuff up. Now, with the hazards that we have, Mothra sweeps. With one Spike and one Stealth Rock, at +2, Mothra has an extremely good chance of sweeping. We outspeed everything on his team. At +2, we outspeed a +1 Scolipede and one-shot it easily with Sludge Bomb because of Tinted Lens. Bug Buzz knocks out Mew. Sludge Bomb knocks out Togekiss. Bug Buzz knocks out Gliscor. It's resisted, which means it doubles in power, so it's basically neutral. At +2, we don't necessarily knock everything out depending on their spreads, but we deal huge damage. I'm considering using Mothra as more of a late game sweeper. After we get rid of some of his better offensive threats, we can start Quiver Dancing up. And the reason we are running Substitute is to potentially... we need to be behind a sub in order to sweep, in case he runs something like... not Quiver Dance. In case he runs something like Choice Scarf Mew. Because Choice Scarf Mew will outspeed us at +1. At +2, however, we will outspeed it. That's the important factor right there. I apologize for my dogs. But yeah, at +2, we just tear through his team. Getting rid of some of his some of his faster Pokemon, however, is actually really Nessie's job. Nessie here, with this investment, we always break Scolipede's sub. That's an important thing to note. We easily take hits from physical Zoroark. We easily take hits from physical Kingdra. Gliscor doesn't do that much damage to us. Scolipede doesn't do that much damage to us. Mega Aggron does nothing to us. And the reason we have a Rindo Berry with Mirror Coat is because it allows us to one-shot Roserade if it goes for Leaf Storm. Which is awesome. Because that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping to get that off. Because that would be really cool. That's just the investment here with Nessie. We're running Surf over Scald because I don't want to activate Hariyama's Guts. That would be bad. And I'm running Dragon Tail. It's not as much to phase things out that are setting up, as much as it is just to get that chip damage that I need in order to sweep with a Pokemon like Mothra. That's really what it's there for. It's there so that I can, phase out and get some chip damage from those hazards on his bulkier Pokemon like Mew. Well, I don't really need the damage on Mew, but on Pokemon like Gliscor, Pokemon like Aggron, Pokemon like Roserade and Hariyama, I need that extra chip damage to make sure that I one-shot it with Mothra, because Mothra is very frail. It'll have really good special bulk when it's at +2, but its physical defense is still not good. Next up is Shallow Grave. Now, we're bringing a really interesting set. As you can clearly see, we have Excadrill and Tyranitar. However, we are not bringing Sand Rush Excadrill, or Sand Force for that matter, which would have been cool. Not what I was really looking for, though. Because we need Mold Breaker. We need Mold Breaker in order to beat Mega Aggron. Now you're probably thinking, you're a ground type, he's a steel type. You should just be able to tear through him easily. No! Mega Aggron has the ability Filter, which weakens my Earthquake. Even with the Earth Plate, if we are running Sand Rush with an Earth Plate, at +2, we do not knock out Aggron. With Mold Breaker, we do. It ignores Filter, we easily knock out Aggron at +2. We knock out pretty much everything at +2 with our Earthquake. The only real problem with this set is Gliscor and other Pokemon that are faster than us. But Gliscor is the only thing that takes us on pretty comfortably. It beats us 1v1. It's guaranteed to beat us 1v1. I have Rapid Spin on there to get rid of hazards because that really makes Mothra setting up very difficult because we come in and get up a substitute and we're only at 50% health. But Earthquake, Ironhead is really only there for Togekiss and Gliscor. Everything else gets hit by Earthquake and goes down. Period. At +2, everything that is on the ground gets one-shotted, except for maybe Mew and maybe Hariyama on a good day, but everything else just gets absolutely destroyed. Now, the last piece of the puzzle, and I had a lot of debating to do with this, the last piece of the puzzle is Indominus, our Air Balloon Tyranitar. Now, I was debating between running Air Balloon and running Choppleberry, because the only Pokemon that... I was also debating between running Sandstream and running Unnerved, because I was really thinking and picturing in my head Tyranitar versus Mew. I was really picturing that being a potential thing that would happen. And if he's running bulky Mew with something like Will-O-Wisp, I would want to run a Lumberry. But then I would also want Sub and Dragon Dance, which means I wouldn't be able to run an extra coverage move, which is a bit of a problem. I didn't, and I wanted to run Unnerved so that Mew couldn't use a Culver Berry. Let's say he runs Culver Berry Mew with Will-O-Wisp, I would want to be able to break through that. So there were a lot of thoughts going through my head. This is the set that I ultimately decided with, and I'll explain to you why. So we are Dragon Dance 3 attacks. We have Facade, Crunch, and Stone Edge. We have 116 EVs in speed. At +1, we outspeed a Jolly or Timid Zoroark, or Naive, whatever speed boosting nature he is. We outspeed a speed boosting nature Zoroark at +1. Facade makes it so that even if we get burned, or paralyzed, or toxic, we can still deal a huge amount of damage at +1. The goal with this set is to sweep at +1 rather than +2, which is why we have the Air Balloon, because a Pokemon that can pretty easily and pretty comfortably switch in to Tyranitar, unless I'm running Ice Punch or Ice Beam, which I am not. It wouldn't make sense for me to run that because it only hits 2 Pokemon on his team, and those, or rather 3 Pokemon on his team, Roserade, Gliscor, and Togekiss, and 2 of those Pokemon actually get hit just as hard, if not harder, by Stone Edge. Stone Edge does more to Togekiss, and Stone Edge does the same amount to Roserade as Ice Punch does. With Stab, Stone Edge goes up to 150, Ice Punch super effective is 150. There's no point in running Ice Punch when it takes away a Stab move from me that I really need. Crunch is for Mew. Unless he is running like a Culver Berry Mew or like a super duper crazy defensive Mew, he's not living a +1 Crunch. There's a chance, I think if he's max defense, max HP, there's a chance, I'm not 100% sure, but the reason we have the Air Balloon is because I'm picturing his most probable switch in to us being Gliscor or Mega Aggron. Mega Aggron doesn't do a lot of damage to us with Heavy Slam because we're really heavy. We're both in the weight range where Heavy Slam is only 20 base power. Or 40, I can't remember which. It's a very weak attack. Earthquake is the best move to hit us with. And I'm really picturing him switching in Gliscor over Aggron because if we run Earthquake, we do a lot of damage to Aggron. Crunch also does a lot of damage to Aggron, actually, but Gliscor is the best switch-in because it can roost off damage from us, and it can hit us back with an Earthquake, which is why we have Air Balloon. Air Balloon makes it so that we can get up to +1 against a Pokemon like Gliscor, because he cannot one-shot us with Earthquake. If he wants to run Brick Break, kudos to him. It probably kills because Gliscor hits really hard, but Gliscor can't just straight up wall us because we have that Air Balloon, and he can't straight up one-shot us unless he's running a fighting type attack because of that Air Balloon. That's the whole point with the Air Balloon. The other thing is that ground coverage does really well against my draft. Actually, it doesn't. Actually, yeah, it really doesn't. Fighting coverage, I really wanted to run Choppleberry, but that means that Gliscor beats me. And I was more concerned with Gliscor beating me than I was with Mew beating me because I have not necessarily better, but I have other ways of dealing with Mew. Tyranitar is really like my ultimate sweeping potential because at +1, we break through pretty much everything on his team. At +1, I believe Stone Edge kills a specially defensive Gliscor after Stealth Rock. I'm not 100% sure about that calc, but all in all, we are able to deal a huge amount of damage, which is the important part. But that's going to be it. Thank you all so very much for watching. I will see you all next week with our Week 4 battle and our Week 4 team builder. But that's going to be it for me. Best of luck out there. I will see you all soon. Goodbye.